Dana Holgorson once famously said that he can't win in West Virginia. That includes West Virginia talent. Yet he's gone to the portal over and over again to get players from West Virginia University and otherwise. We're going to talk about that and discuss if the grass is greener on the other side for transfers on this episode of Mountaineer Paul Talks Football.
This is for Cameron.
What is up? Welcome in, guys. My name is Mountaineer Paul, and you have landed yourself here again at Mountaineer Paul Talks Football. Really appreciate you guys stopping in. We are on the road to 1,000 subscribers. We're almost there. We're well over 900. So if you're just now watching Mountaineer Paul Talks Football for the first time, we ask that you like the video. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done that already. And last but not least, create a dialogue. Let's talk about some of these issues I'm going to bring forth on this episode. Dana Holgorson, we all know, will be facing his former team in the West Virginia Mountaineers on a Thursday night, October 13th in Houston on a Thursday. It's going to be a heck of an atmosphere, I'm sure. Dana's going to really want to get that game. But I just want to recall a couple of things. Just bring a few things up, see what you guys think. Number one, do you guys remember when Dana said he couldn't win in West Virginia? Couldn't win with West Virginia talent, those kind of things. By today's date, I count 6. That's right, 6 players affiliated with West Virginia University in one shape, form, or another that now is in Houston. I'm not saying tampering. Some people will. Some people have. Some people think Tony Mathis leaving the way he did was awfully odd. Obviously, the running back room is crowded. I get that. But people think that he had given certain assurances, and then all of a sudden things changed really quick once McCaskill goes to Colorado out of Houston. Interesting times. We all know it goes on. Like I said, not accusing Dana of it. This is probably going to be more of a cautionary tale, right? We hear about these transfers going into the portal and getting left for dead, transferring down even, way down into the Division II level, for in some cases JUCO, and yeah, there are cases where careers are revived out of those, but a lot of times these kids' careers go and die in these places. And there's a former West Virginia Mountaineer that you'll probably remember that had a similar experience, and Dana Holgorson is the person that pulled him to the other side. We're talking about Giovanni Stewart. Giovanni Stewart was a hybrid between a safety corner linebacker combo, and he had a pretty good season his junior year in a Mountaineer uniform. Tune of 35 tackles, 53 total, 10.5 tackles for loss. That's a really good number. I remember that season myself. It was a really good season. We're talking about Giovanni Stewart. Dana Holgorson was able to convince him to come over to the other side in Houston, and he had a pretty good season his junior year in a Mountaineer uniform. At 35 tackles, 53 total, and 10.5 tackles for loss. See if I can bring that up really quick. Right here is a little spreadsheet from Houston's website that kind of shows year by year the stats for Giovanni Stewart. And if you see, once you get down to Houston, those numbers turn into next to nothing. It says he played in 9 games, but a far cry from 53 total tackles and 10.5 tackles for loss. You would think that his career was on the upswing, on the ascension. But no, he gets talked into transferring to Houston, and he doesn't hit 20 tackles in either of his final 2 seasons there, guys. And this happens all over college football, right? As you can see, I have my whiteboard with me today, and I just have kind of a list of the players that have gone to Houston to play with Dana Holgorson. As of now, only one of those players have really done much of anything, and that's Sam Brown, who we kind of expected some big things out of in Morgantown, who's going to be wide receiver 1 there this year. But outside of him, none of these guys have really done anything yet at Houston. Obviously, a lot of these guys are going to be trying for that this year. But when you look at the list of guys on that list, Sam Brown, Giovanni Stewart, who we just talked about, Noah Guzman, Mike O'Laughlin, Tony Mathis, and Justin Benton Jr., who, while he never suited up for the Mountaineers was committed to the Mountaineers for over a year and then flipped last minute to Houston, which in my opinion was the biggest loss of the recruiting cycle for the Mountaineers and Neil Brown and company. And all reports out of Houston say that Mr. Benton Jr. is tearing it up. So interesting to see how he's going to perform in a Houston uniform. Sam Brown, some other guys have tweeted out things to West Virginia, circling this date on the calendar. How do you guys feel about playing all these former players on a Thursday night? Is that something you're looking forward to? Does that add anything to the game? Is this a possible rivalry in the making between West Virginia and Houston? Let me know down below in the comments, guys. Give me a comment below. Like I said, guys, like the video. We're on our way to 1,000 subscribers. If you like this kind of content, if you like talking about the Big 12 and college football, subscribe to the channel. We would love to have you here. We talk about college football from a Big 12 slant point of view. Let me know down below, guys, who do you think is the biggest loss on this list? Is it Sam Brown, the talented wide receiver, really is on pace to do well for Houston this season after catching over 400 yards and 4 touchdowns last year? Is it Noah Guzman, a defensive back that had high hopes in Morgantown? Mike O'Laughlin, the forever injured tight end who had put up some big numbers, had some big games in a Mountain uniform, and certainly has the respect of the fan base? Is it former leading rusher Tony Mathis? Or could it be none of them and Justin Benton Jr., a 4-star defensive lineman who is one of the best in the country at his position? Would really like to know, guys. See what you think on that. Really appreciate you guys. And also, guys, let me know what you think about players transferring. Giovanni Stewart, is he a cautionary tale? Do you see any of the Mountaineers now in Houston uniforms going down that potential path? Is it former leading rusher Tony Mathis Jr. heading for that? Let me know, guys. Really appreciate that. Looking forward to the Thursday night game versus Houston. Certainly want to get back at the mullet, the guy that said you can't win in West Virginia, can't win with West Virginia talent, yet goes into West Virginia and gets that same talent. A little hypocritical, Dana. Let's see what happens on Thursday night, October 13th, guys. This has been another episode of Mountaineer Paul Talk Football. This episode is over. I'm out.
This is for Cameron. Tim Cam.